Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
This is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we are not amused, because this week we watched Tooth and Claw,
Written by Russell T. Davies.
directed by Euros Lynn.
And aired on April 22nd, 2006. So, fitting, 2 days after Earth Day. Nah, I don't know why
I don't know why that's
fitting.
Yeah, what?
Because this story featured plants as a main part of the story.
Wow.
And animals.
Terror of the Vervoids featured more plants than this.
This features animals as well. Actually, every single story of Doctor Who features animals because they all feature humans.
Do you just call humans
Actually,
animals?
Warrior's Gate doesn't feature humans. I guess it features, other animals, but who knows
Features
if they can
Alzarians.
Who knows if Alzarians can even be classified as animals?
Didn't State of
They're
Decay
more-
have those vampires?
Yeah. Anyway,
Alright, yeah, so it's a story about werewolves, which we
Yeah.
mentioned last week, I guess, thanks to the preview that once again spoils everything. The preview for next week that also spoils that Sarah Jane comes back next week. Nice.
and K9. But yeah, I'm surprised Doctor Who hasn't done anything with werewolves until now.
Well, it has, kind of. Greatest show in the galaxy, kind of. It wasn't like the main plot, but like one of the performers was.
Well, there was the Garm, actually, in
Yeah.
Terminus. But it doesn't count at all.
No, he didn't turn when the moon is a full moon. What happens if you take a werewolf into space? Because there's no full moons in space. That's like an Earth thing or like another planet.
Well,
Thing.
in this, it wasn't a full moon, it was just the moon. But yeah, I guess traditionally it's the full moon.
Well, it's like hinted at that it might only be the full moon because one of the monks is like, we've waited for years for one of your voyages to line up with the full moon to Queen
Oh,
Victoria.
Yeah, I guess it is the full moon then.
And yeah, so if you take them into space, are they just always a werewolf because you can always see the full moon in space? Or is it like you need the sunlight to reflect off the moon? This is a very ill-defined aspect of werewolf lore, I think.
Stupid people who made this up. Why
Especially
didn't you
since
get it right?
the werewolf in this story is like explicitly an alien.
Maybe it just doesn't have that power. Maybe it got the power when it came to Earth. It's like, oh sweet, I can turn into a wolf now.
Like Superman, except way worse. Instead of getting flight, laser beams, freeze breath, he got the power to turn into a wolf with all the strength and proportional power of a wolf.
Once a month.
Yeah, once a month
Actually,
at best.
No, he doesn't have the strength and power of a wolf. He's actually a lot stronger and can stand on its hind legs. Stand on his hind legs. So.
Right, all the strength and proportional power of a wolf-human hybrid, also twice a month if you're really lucky. Once in a blue moon, you can transform. Anyway, the story begins with a scene that seems really out of left field until you've seen the rest of the story. But basically, these monks show up at this house and they're like, we're going to take the house. And the guy's like, yeah, no. And the monk just beats the guy up.
A lot of quick cuts here, probably again to hide the not great choreography. Actually, the choreography didn't look that bad, but maybe that's just them hiding it really well. I don't know.
Well, they also had some in there, so it's automatically good in my book. He's spinning the staff around, it's going and yeah, he just kicks the dude in the chest and he goes flying like 4 feet, so...
So yeah,
And
the monks take the house.
Yeah, they haul in like this cage of something into the basement, and the monk's just like, God help us all. Although I don't know why he says that, since later on it's revealed that the monks don't even worship God anymore.
Maybe it's because God didn't save them. It's like,
The first
dang it,
time.
I guess I'll just turn my back against God.
Well, I mean, that's not like maybe an unreasonable assumption. If a meteor comes shooting out of the sky, lands nearby, and an alien creature crawls out and infests someone in the local town and then survives for millennia,
Yeah,
that
but
might make you at least question your faith.
there's probably only a week max between this beginning scene and the rest of the story, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not clear how long the monks have been worshipping the werewolf.
Yeah.
Because,
Maybe it wasn't a week max, maybe it was just 3 years.
I mean, it might have been. I mean, all we know is that the werewolf has been jumping bodies for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, 500 years or
500
something.
years. That would at least lend them to, start questioning things. Anyway, they like uncover it in the basement, but you don't see what it is yet, and this lady screams, and the scream goes into the title sequence. Kind of like how Mel would scream into the end credit sequence for like all of season 23?
I don't remember the exact number of the season.
24.
I think Mel, if it was Mel, it was definitely more than
24.
23.
I think it was 24. Yeah, because it ended on season 26.
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, because Silver Nemesis was season 25, and that was an Ace story. And Ace had 2
Ace.
seasons. So that would make Mel 24. Season 24.
All right.
Season 23 was Trial of a Time Lord, I think.
All right.
Man, it's amazing how I've already forgotten that, even though it was like the beginning of this year.
Anyway, the Doctor and Rose are planning to go to 1979.
Yeah, to see somebody in concert, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but...
Are they just going to materialize inside the concert venue, or are they going to actually like pay for tickets? Are they just going to freeload?
They would be able to get in somehow.
Anyway, the Doctor being the Doctor, he completely mixes up all the digits in the number and ends up in 1897?
This is just 1879.
1879.
And he leaves the TARDIS and is held at gunpoint by a Scottish guy, I guess.
Scottish guy. Yeah, it's like an army guy.
Yeah, it's a guard.
And there's 4 or 5 of them. And they're guarding this black carriage. And the Doctor's like, oh, this is awkward. He like switches into a Scottish accent right there for about half of the story, and then he forgets. And not like David Tennant forgets, like the character forgets to keep up the accent.
Because that's his real accent, or close to it.
Yeah.
More closer to his real... The Scottish accent, I guess, is closer to his real accent than the voice he puts on for the Doctor.
Mm-hmm. So then Rose comes out and they're like, oh, gasp, she's naked.
And she's wearing like overalls and a t-shirt, but it's the Victorian era, so...
Yeah, she's showing her arms. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Men might be distracted by those arms. Anyway, the Doctor holds up his psychic paper and he claims to be Dr. James McCrimmon. So, that's a nice little throwback.
Yeah.
And they look at the paper and they're like, well, guess you are Dr. James McCrimmon. And then Queen Victoria's like, let me see the interlopers.
Yeah, we didn't mention it's Queen Victoria in the carriage.
Well, that's because we only find out right now. When she's like, bring him over here, and they open the door, and the Doc's like, oh, it's Queen Victoria. And Rose is like, wow, it's Queen Victoria.
And I was like, wow, it's Queen Victoria.
And I was like, wow, it's Queen Victoria.
I guess that explains why her carriage is black.
Yeah.
She only wears black. She, like, mourned her husband's death for...
Until she died.
Until she died, I guess. Kind of weird.
So she looks at the psychic paper. She's like, oh, it says here you're my personal protection. The Doc's like, it does? I think that's the first time the Doctor's questioned what the psychic paper says.
Yeah, so the psychic paper shows you what you want to see, right? So...
Yeah, or it
kind of
like
wonder...
shows what you want the other person to see. So yeah, I do kind of wonder, like, how does the Doctor not...
Or, like, why does it show Queen Victoria, or why does it tell Queen Victoria that the Doctor is her personal, like, doctor? Why is that what she wants?
Don't know. Well, because maybe she needs a doctor. Hashtag Christopher
God.
Eccleston. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it's obviously just an excuse as to why they don't just get killed
Yeah.
right now, but
I think this is probably the best use of the psychic paper so far, because I think this story moved really quickly, and I think it would have been really out of place. It would have been really out of place if they had spent 20 minutes trying to get the Doctor to convince them that he wasn't there to hurt them.
I mean, I still don't like the psychic paper. I don't like the concept of it, but since we brought up how quickly how fast this story felt, yeah, this felt really fast. Just as an example of that, I thought the episode had about 30 minutes left while I was watching, so I checked the timestamp, and it had only 7 minutes left. I was like, wow.
Yeah, about the
Really
same
quick.
happened in this story as last week, but this story was way quicker paced than last week, and I think it actually worked pretty well for the story.
Yeah, this story was a lot stronger than last week's, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, they get to the house that they're going to.
Torchwood Estate,
Yeah,
by the
Torchwood
way.
Estate. Really shilling Torchwood.
Well, so I guess Russell T's approaching the overarching plotline differently this season than last season, which is good because You need to do
Bad
that.
Wolf was barely noticeable.
Well, that, and also like Bad Wolf, the way he did it was like, oh, they like mentioned Bad Wolf every week, and then at the end of the season it was revealed what Bad Wolf is. Whereas this season, like, you know, in the second episode, he reveals what Torchwood is and what their purpose is, and so now the overarching plotline is, when is Torchwood going to catch up with the Doctor?
Yeah, it's more of a traditional sort of season, I guess, rather than just like episodic with sprinkles of Bad Wolf. It sounded weird, but
Sprinkles of Bad Wolf. Yum!
but yeah, the Torchwood was actually mentioned in series 1, but it wasn't.
At Bad Wolf.
And by Jack, like, multiple times, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I just know that the android mentioned it in Bad Wolf.
Yeah, but it wasn't that big of a deal last season.
Here's a fun fact for you. Torchwood, when Russell T was bringing back Doctor Who, all of the production documents were labeled with Torchwood because they didn't want it leaked to the press that they were rebooting Doctor Who. And Torchwood is actually an anagram of Doctor Who. So there's your fun fact for the day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it got leaked anyway.
Well, I'm sure there were leaks that, like, BBC's working on this new show called Torchwood. Wonder what it could be. And then Russell T was like, Torchwood is Doctor Who, everybody, surprise, we're bringing it back. Anyway, so they arrive at Torchwood Estate, and Sir Robert, who I guess is the lord of the house, is like, hey, I don't really want to do this. And the monk is like, you're going to do this. You're going to do this, or we're going to kill your wife.
Yeah, the monk looks really creepy. The head monk, I guess. I don't really know his name.
Angelo. Father Angelo.
Angelo. This story did a good job of actually being pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And there was one sort of jump scare later that actually kind of scared me, which is surprising, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get scared by the story, but I agree, it was pretty creepy, this whole story. The whole atmosphere, I think, was really well portrayed.
The guy who played the werewolf before it transformed, like, really contributed to that. He was pretty good.
And I think actually a lot of the quick cuts actually contributed to that too. Like, there's a scene later where Rose is in the basement staring down the guy, and it's quick cutting back to the Doctor questioning Sir Robert about what the werewolf is.
Yeah, that scene to me was actually funny for multiple reasons, but we'll get there.
We're almost there. But so Sir Robert's giving him a tour of the house, and they get taken up to, I guess Sir Robert's dad built this telescope into his building. At least that's the assumption you're supposed to have when you first see it.
Yeah.
And the Doctor looks through it and he's like, this is all wrong. There are way too many prisms in here. It's all completely out of whack.
Queen Victoria is like, wow, you know a lot about this stuff.
Telescopes.
We find out that What's-His-Face's dad was also interested in the supernatural.
Yeah, Sir Robert's dad. Yeah. Previous Lord of Torchwood Estate.
Yeah. So not only was he interested in, like, space, he was also interested in, like, fairy tales and their legitimacy.
Yeah, because Sir Robert has vaguely alluded to this werewolf thing, and the monk is, like, staring him down, like, don't you do it, don't you dare. And then the Doctor's like, tell us the story. And Sir Robert's like, nah, I really shouldn't. And then Queen Victoria's like, you will at dinner, right after we get this lady dressed.
Yeah, so Rose goes off to get changed, and everyone else goes off to, I guess, get ready for dinner.
Yeah, so then we get this scene I thought was kind of humorous, because she's just standing in front of the mirror, holding different dresses in front of her to, like, try them on visually. I thought that was the funniest part of this story.
All right.
Just seemed out of place to me.
Actually, okay. Actually, something even funnier happens right now, which is that Rose opens the wardrobe or closet or whatever it is, and there's someone in there.
Surprise!
And, I mean, obviously she's hiding from the wolf, but, like, first of all, it's an awful hiding place, and second of all, it's just kind of funny that she just opens the thing and she's there. She's like, hey, what are you doing in there?
She's like, I've been hiding from the wolf. And Rose is like, I've got a friend, the Doctor, he can help. So they leave the room to go find the Doctor. But meanwhile, right before they're about to leave the room, the monks have prepared a sleeping drink, I guess.
Yeah, they pass around a drink for all the guards / soldiers, and they pass out after drinking it. I think we also see that the rest of the staff are being kept in the basement at this point.
Yeah, with the
chained
wolf,
to the wall.
the big bad wolf.
So dinner, yeah, they
They're at dinner.
Eating dinner.
Robert's explaining the story about the monks who stopped worshipping God and started worshipping the wolf. Meanwhile, Father Angelo creepily walks over to the window and starts reciting things about the wolf, and the doctor's like, so what if one of them was here with us now?
See, that was the funniest part of this to me is like, nobody notices this guy just walking into the corner recanting this satanic chant. Only the doctor notices, like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, Queen Victoria is clearly shown not to believe any of the nonsense in the story, even though she sees it happen right in front of her. So that's great.
What do you mean? I think she believes it.
Nah, she spends like a whole 2 minutes when they're in the library explaining how she doesn't believe any of this, and there's no possible way there could be wolves.
By the
werewolves.
end, she's like, I've seen something here that I can't explain, so I'm going to establish Torchwood.
I guess. But right now, she doesn't believe it. So.
Anyway, we get the information that the wolf came from space, supposedly. According to the story, there was a shooting star, and after that was when the wolf started appearing, inhabiting people's bodies.
Yeah, but they don't realize till later that the meteor crashed next to the monastery when they're reading the books in the library. But yeah, so Rose is talking with the wolf in human form, and the wolf's being all creepy.
The wolf is in a cage, so I don't know, that
doesn't do much.
It doesn't do much, but I don't know, I feel like the fact that it's in a cage kind of adds to the creepiness because it's out of the ordinary. It's what you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
The wolf makes a reference to the bad wolf as he looks into Rose's eyes like, you've had the wolf within you, but you've only burned like the sun, but I need the moon. And then I guess the monks outside throw open the cellar doors and the moon comes streaming through. They all start screaming, ah, because the wolf starts transforming in one of the creepiest scenes so far.
Yeah, the CGI in this was, I guess, decent. Probably looks better than anything in Series 1. But there was, before the wolf transforms, there's a little jump scare where the guy sort of lurches forward and there's a loud sound effect, and that actually scared me. So, good on that, I guess.
Bring it back to the days where kids are hiding behind the couches watching Doctor Who. If I was a kid watching this might actually be the scariest episode so far, let's be honest here.
Yeah, probably.
So the wolf starts transforming, and Rose tries to get all the servants to like pull on the chains at once, and they're all like pulling at different directions at different times. She's like, no, we must pull at once. So the doctor realizes that Father Angelo's trapped Rose in the basement, and he's like, where is she? And they go running down to the basement, and they get there just as they break the chains to get away from the wolf.
Yeah, the wolf easily breaks open the cage and starts going after them.
Yeah, and then the doctor's like, that's beautiful. Then Rose is like, you're gonna get killed.
So they start running around. They do that for a while, actually, but it feels really fast, like we mentioned before.
Yeah, well, so, okay, first, Queen Victoria shoots Father Angelo with the pistol she carries around with her now that she's had 6 attempts on her life.
Yeah.
Rose, at some point, makes this... Actually, there's 2 things that Rose does that we've got to mention. Number 1, she makes this reference to the Kennedy assassination. She's like, whenever you think of assassinations, you just think of Kennedy. The doctor's like, you know that like pretty much every world leader's had an assassination attempt, right?
You know that pretty much everyone's almost been assassinated, right, Rose?
And then also Rose makes a bet with the doctor that she can get Queen Victoria to say, we are not amused, so...
Yeah, I didn't get that, so that's why I kind of didn't get the banter. But whatever.
Yeah, that's why Rose keeps saying, I bet you're not amused, right, Victoria? And she's like, what are you talking about, you fool?
Yeah, but anyway, the wolf is chasing them, and they lock themselves in the library.
Well, not before everybody dies.
Yeah, a lot of people die.
They, like, make a firing line, and they all fire on the wolves, and the steward's, like, really overconfident, like, nothing could have survived that. And the doctor's like, just come with me upstairs. We could lock the door. We can all be safe. And the steward's like, no. And he gets killed.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as someone says nothing could have survived that, you know that they're immediately going to get killed by the thing that survived it.
I really want a story just to, the guy to be like, nothing could have survived that, and they go over and the guy's, the thing they shot at was just actually dead. They're like, see?
Like, oh,
totally. Wow. It actually worked. So yeah, so the doctor, Sir Robert, Rose, and Queen Victoria make it to the library because Queen Victoria
they're pretty much the only ones left.
Well, so there's the maids, who are in the kitchen with Lady Isabel, who's Sir Robert's wife.
And they surprisingly actually help
it out.
later on.
They realize that all the monks are wearing mistletoe, and they're like, we could use that against the wolf. Apparently, the script editor for the season said mistletoe is not indigenous to Scotland, and that was supposed to be a clue that Sir Robert's dad imported it to fight the wolf.
I mean, sure, like, who would know that, though, so...
I mean, a Perry would, her botany skills.
I mean, all right, yeah. If Nicola Bryant is watching this, yeah, I'm sure she would know, because she's obviously Perry herself. She didn't act for that part, so...
She took a 3-year-long botany course in preparation for the role. J&T went to her, like, in the Fourth Doctor, was like, hey, I'm going to cast you as a botanist, so I'm going to need you to brush up on your botany skills.
She's like, good thing I'm a method actor. No, that didn't happen.
So the Doctor
thought it did.
Also figures it out, and
yeah, because the Doctor, someone says like, "What are we gonna do? We have no weapons." And the Doctor's like, "Don't you realize we're surrounded by the greatest weapons of all time, books?" And I was like, "Yeah, bore it to death with books."
Well, I think he means like knowledge.
Yeah, he does.
But I mean, you could throw the books at the wolf too. That would work. Maybe they're made of silver.
I don't think that would work, actually. Pretty sure the wolf would just shred through the books and come and kill you.
Hasn't the Doctor made a reference or like made the statement, a similar statement before about knowledge being the greatest weapon? I'm sure he has.
Probably. I mean,
he also licks the wall to find out if it's mistletoe, which is kind of humorous for me anyway, because I had already written the description for last week's podcast episode, and I wrote that the 10th Doctor, out of all the ones we've seen, would be the most likely to lick the mirror after looking at it, in reference to Curse of Fatal Death. So it's kind of funny that he just licks the wall in this story.
Yeah, but I don't like how much they're playing up, like, look how weird and quirky the Doctor is. Look, he's willing to lick a wall.
Well,
let's all laugh.
They established that in Christmas
out.
Invasion because he tastes the blood to check that it's blood. I don't think we actually mentioned that in our episode, but
yeah, but it doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, I'm just saying that they've already established it, and it's not like they're throwing it in randomly 3 weeks in.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, like I said, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, anyway.
So they're reading the books because the wolf can't get into the room because all the walls are coated in mistletoe, except apparently Sir Robert's dad neglected to realize that there was a skylight in the room. But anyway, they're reading the books and they find out that the shooting star crashed in the monastery, and the Doctor theorizes that maybe just one cell of the alien survived and then jumped from body to body as it grew stronger over time.
Yeah, he does that.
Then the wolf busts in through the skylight and they're like, oh shoot, oh wait, actually, before the wolf busts in, go back 5 seconds. The Queen reveals that the reason why she's on this journey is because she's transporting a diamond to be recut.
It's a famous diamond. I'm pretty sure it's a real thing.
Yeah,
I think diamond.
It is. It's called the Koh-i-Noor. So
yeah, she's transporting it. She wants it cut again because her husband, whose name I don't remember, Prince Albert, had it cut down to like 40% of the original size or something.
Other way around. The original was 40% bigger than the current one.
Yeah, okay, well, he had it cut down a lot. For some reason, they don't know why yet. I guess they don't know why by the end either. They just sort of make a guess that's probably right. But
yeah, the Doctor makes an informed guess, and it turns out to be presumably correct. Also, the monks knew about her journey to have the diamond cut, and they
timed.
Well, they took out the rail line because it's revealed that the reason why the Queen Victoria's in a carriage is because the rail line is out.
No, it's actually her people that did that because the monks were going to assassinate her on the rail line, so they chopped down the tree or somehow blocked the line so that she could have an excuse to go by carriage.
Well, the point remains that it's the monks are the reason why the rail line is out. Whether they did it specifically them or not.
They're the reason why it's out, but they didn't take it out.
Yeah.
As far as I could tell. I think there's just some more running around now.
So they
realize what the diamond is for. I think that just the Doctor does.
Well, so the maids chuck boiling mistletoe-infused water on the wolf, and the Doctor's like, hey, good shot.
Maybe it's just boiling water that hurts the wolf. You know, boiling water is pretty hot.
Amazing. Amazing revelation.
176 episodes and
This is the conclusion we've drawn. Boiling water is hot. So the doctor's like, oh, good shot. And then Sir Robert kisses Lady Isabel and is like, I'll probably never see you again, so bye. Make sure you get out safe.
Yeah, I noticed this kiss too. You know what would be funny is if, like, during the kiss, the wolf just, like, mauled them, like, nope, not gonna give you a chance to... Because, I mean, I don't know, this usually happens in stories, I guess, is, like, people take time to say something or kiss or, like, do something right before they're about to be attacked, and, like, the enemy just gives them the time to do it.
Well, the wolf did just get burned by boiling water, as we indicated not a minute ago. I think he's going to go tend to his wounds for a minute.
Go lick his wounds like the dog he is, or is related to, I guess.
Yes. So...
Oh, yeah, dogs can actually spit up hairballs, so I guess wolves can, too. We were wondering that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or I think just last week. Yeah, they actually can, but it's pretty rare.
It's good to know, I guess. So, the Doctor, Rose, Queen Victoria, and Sir Robert go up to the telescoping room, because the Doctor's figured out here that they can use the moon to defeat the wolf. And Sir Robert's like, I'll give you the time you need. And the Doctor's like, you're going to die if you do this. And he's like, I know.
The Doctor's like, good man. He's waiting for you to kill yourself. No.
No, but he does look at him sadly.
Yeah. So they start using the diamond to channel the...
Well, the Doctor and Rose spend the next 5 minutes just opening the observatory roof so the moon can shine through the telescope object thing. And Sir Robert pulls out a sword and he's like, come at me, you wolf. I'll beat you back with this probably blunt sword because it was used for decorative purposes.
It's really small, too. It's almost a dagger, to be honest. It's like in between a sword and a dagger.
So he gets horribly mauled. He hears screams. As you've heard, everybody screams in the story who gets horribly mauled, forgot to mention.
Yeah, one thing that's sort of misleading about the tooth and claw name, I thought, was that the wolf is like... It uses its claws like 75% of the time and its teeth like 25% of the time. So could have indicated that a little better rather than just juxtaposing them equally like tooth and claw.
Wow, that's such a specific complaint.
Oh, well.
Yeah, well.
Actually, I don't know if it used its claws more because there were so many cuts and...
It was off-screen most of the time.
I'm just guessing that it did. Anyway, Rose makes this comment like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't the wolf powered by moonlight? And the Doctor's like, you're 70% water and you can still drown.
Good point.
Like, all right, Russell T.
Good points. So, all of a sudden, the moonlight starts shining through the telescope. Not how light works. Doesn't coalesce into such a beam like that by just shining through the one lens like that. But you know what? I'm willing to suspend my disbelief.
Maybe Torchwood built a Death Star thing on the moon. Just like they do on Earth 100 years from this story. And it just beams moonlight down to the Earth.
Moonlight is just sunlight reflected off the moon, though.
There's also actually that thing that I think we've mentioned on the podcast before, probably like 100 episodes ago, where like if the Death Star were real, the beams would just like cross each other
and just miss and just go. I'm sure I saw a picture like that. Someone did a funny drawing. It's like the Death Star trying to shoot down Alderaan. Yeah, and it's just like the beams just around the planet. And it's like, shit.
Vader's like, oh.
So,
but anyway, it works in this story, thankfully.
The Doctor like slides the diamond across the floor because apparently Sir Robert's dad didn't realize that the telescope shot the beam into the floor, but he needed it to bounce off the floor into the wolf. So it reflects through the diamond into the wolf.
It bounces off the walls kind of hilariously.
Yeah, the walls inside the telescope, they go wing, 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 wing. So yeah, then the wolf like burns up and dies. I guess.
Yeah.
There's like the implication that like Queen Victoria might have been slightly infected by.
Yeah, I think she was scratched because the Doctor I think, notices that she's been scratched and she tries to hide it or something. I guess
Yeah.
we don't know for sure, but it seems pretty obvious that.
The Doctor seems to imply it later on because he says that all of Queen Victoria's descendants and her had hemophilia, but it's a genetic disease and Victoria's parents didn't have it, and so there's this huge mystery about how did Queen Victoria get hemophilia.
Should have just been like, this is how the royal family got their type A positive blood. No, I don't know.
But yeah, so she doesn't want to show the Doctor because she doesn't trust the Doctor anymore, because we forgot to mention he dropped his Scottish accent when they're in the library, and Queen Victoria's like, hey, what happened to your Scottish accent? He's like, oh, right, sorry.
She says she doesn't trust someone who can change their voice so quickly. Kind of makes sense, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah, so then I don't know what happens to all the other monks that are standing outside with guns stopping people from getting out now that the wolf is dead. I mean, the wolf dying is not like gonna just make the monks disappear.
Yeah, come to think of it, I guess the guy who the wolf possessed died too, because the wolf has to possess somebody to,
Yeah.
I guess, exist. But yeah,
So then Queen Victoria decides to knight the Doctor and Rose.
and banish them.
Yeah, she banishes them immediately after knighting them, and she says, I am not amused. And Rose is like, yes, I won the bet. The Doctor's like, damn it.
Yeah, so this is the British Empire at this time, and they mentioned that in this story. So I was wondering before recording, like, are they banished from the entire British Empire, which is like half the land on Earth? It's like part of the British Empire. It's like, darn, banished from half the Earth.
I mean, do you really think Queen Victoria's going to send a letter with like a picture enclosed all the way down to like Australia with like, hey, watch out for this guy?
Yeah. I think Australia was already independent. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it was like the beginning of the 20th century. I think it was beginning of the 20th century, but I don't know.
Maybe it was pre-Victorian era. We're just getting it completely wrong.
I really don't know. I know absolutely nothing about Australian history.
Yeah, me too. So then they're like, bummer, we got banished. Oh no, not like we're stuck in the British Empire forever. They just go back to the TARDIS and leave. They get escorted back to the TARDIS, actually, by some guy on his cart, and he's like, here you go, he's just stop. It's not really an escort.
All the way there. He sort of just drops them off near the TARDIS.
And yeah, so they go. I'm surprised, actually, that the guards that, like, arrest the Doctor as soon as he steps out of the TARDIS weren't more surprised by the fact that this police box just materialized in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I guess, but...
Since they would have had to see it materialize, probably.
What if they just arrested the Doctor and Rose, like, as soon as they banished them, like, ooh, you're not supposed to be here anymore. Guess you're under arrest.
Wow.
No, I'm sure they'd give them time to leave. Yeah, well, they did give them time.
I'm sure there's a grace period there.
You have 20 minutes, run.
Like the end of John Wick 2, you have 1 hour.
Just jump into the sea.
You just have to swim far enough away so that you're no longer within England's borders. I don't know how far out to sea England's borders extend.
Probably really far. Probably farther than you could swim in a short amount of time.
I don't know. I don't know naval law, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, so then Queen Victoria's talking with Lady Isabel and is like, your husband's sacrifice will not go in vain. I'm founding the Torchwood Institute, and if the Doctor ever comes back, he better watch out. So obviously setting up that when the Doctor's back on Earth and Torchwood finds out, they're going to come gunning for him.
Yeah, and Queen Victoria founded Torchwood, which is kind of interesting, I guess. Kind of a cool point.
Yeah, top secret, more secret than unit secret. Kind of calls into question why Torchwood didn't start poking around into unit's affairs in the 70s when they found out that they had this doctor dude on a payroll.
Someone just wrote it off like, oh, I couldn't possibly be the same guy.
Well, so in my headcanon, I'm just writing it off as like, oh, Queen Victoria provided Torchwood with a description of the 10th Doctor, so when they probably did poke in, they were just like, it's this dandy with white hair and an opera cape. They're probably like, yeah, this isn't the person that Queen Victoria described at all.
Then again, what's his name? A regular civilian in Rose found out, if that's true, more about the Doctor than Torchwood did. Should hire whatever that guy's name was.
Yeah, well, he had the power of a lot of free time and a never-ending obsession with conspiracy theories. Torchwood only dealt with real facts, and also Torchwood apparently has to repel alien invasions. Once again, causing the question why they're not poking their head into Unit, who seems to be involved with aliens every other week. Surprised they didn't find out about those Daleks that just invaded that one house. And then the story ends with a trailer for next week, which also spoils that Sarah Jane doesn't recognize the Doctor when she first sees him. It's actually,
and K9 comes back.
Yeah, there's actually a really cool reveal next week when Sarah Jane realizes that the Doctor is the Doctor. But yeah, overall, this is definitely the strongest of the season so far, of the 2 episodes. It's like 50-50 shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Really fast paced. I was surprised. I don't think, actually thinking on it, I don't think there's like another story that I'd say was like this quickly paced that I can think of.
Yeah.
Like right now.
You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I think this is the one time that I actually wanted Doctor Who to slow down a little bit.
The one time you actually wanted them to maybe take an extra like 10 minutes to flesh everything out a little bit. Yeah, I could see that. Otherwise, an interesting episode. Russell T's really pulling his weight this season. He's written the first 2 episodes, and I'm pretty certain he writes next week's episode too.
Oh, he's written most of the episodes of the reboot so far.
Which has given us mixed results, I guess. But
they've mostly been pretty solid.
Yeah, but mostly solid. A couple missteps. New Earth was a bit of a misstep. But anyway. You can email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters, your thoughts on David Tennant as the Doctor, I guess, or werewolves. Your thoughts on real-life werewolves.
Would you want a werewolf as the next Doctor?
Would you want to wear a wolf? Peter would like a word with you. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. All at Trust Your Doctor. Be sure to leave a rating if you liked the show.
Check us out on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook. Also check us on Twitter at TYD Podcast and follow us on Twitter. And next time, we're watching School Reunion. But until then, the end.